Good morning. It is 8 a.m. on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. I call this Economic Development Authority meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is roll call. We do have a quorum present. Item 2.1, EDA September 9th, 2025 minutes.
So move.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3.1, Administrative Activities, September 2025.
All right, President Markgraf and Commissioners, you have the report in your packet. I'll just note under the Section 8 program, we did receive 21 enhanced vouchers for the tenants at Sunset Apartments. The owners opted out of their project-based Section 8 contract. So as of October 1st, 5 of those vouchers are being utilized at the property. One is available to a currently unassisted tenant that was over income, and the other 15 were automatically converted to housing choice vouchers. So our voucher program in total now has 204 vouchers available to serve Brown County. I'll just note under the Home Buyer Assistance Loan Program, 2 new applications were received. Under the Get It Ready Loan Program, 1 application was received, and we approved that last week at our special meeting. And under the Multifamily Rental Rehab Loan Program, 2 applications were received, each in the amount of $25,000. So that will take up the remaining funds for that program.
Was it different applicants or same?
It's yes and no. It's 2 separate properties, 2 separate LLCs, but it's the same owner.
I don't have any questions, so I'll make a motion to accept the administrative activities report for September of 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.1, Payment Standards for Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program.
All right, Commissioners and President Markgraf, this is an item we review every year. The Department of Housing and Urban Development issues new fair market rents for each county on an annual basis. We use the fair market rents to set the payment standards for the Section 8 program. Fair market rents are gross rent estimates that include rent and tenant-paid utilities. So you can see the comparison between the 2025 FMRs and the 2026 FMRs. They increase slightly for each bedroom size. I won't read them unless you want me to. Like I said, we use them for the Section 8 program to determine our payment standard, which identifies the maximum amount of rental assistance we can provide to a family based on their voucher size. HUD allows housing authorities to set the payment standards for the program within 90% to 110% of the established fair market rents for their area. With the new FMRs, I did an analysis of our program, and the goal is to have as many people on the program as possible paying 30% of their income toward their rent and utility costs. That is the way the program is intended to work. In order to do that, I did need to go to 110% of the FMRs for the 1 and 2 bedroom payment standards and 103% on the 3 and 4 bedroom payment standards. So you can see the numbers there. For an efficiency, I stayed at 100%. We don't have a lot of those on the program. The payment standard for an efficiency or a studio apartment would be $671. A 1-bedroom would be $816, 2-bedroom $1,070, 3-bedroom $1,212, and a 4-bedroom $1,657. As in prior years, we continue to see rents in the area increase year after year. We have a low vacancy rate. It's a landlord's market, and they're able to continue to increase the rents. So we recommend setting the payment standards as proposed above. We feel these payment standards should be adequate for voucher holders to find suitable housing in the area, and the new payment standards will be effective December 1st, 2025.
Okay, there's no, go ahead, Dave.
I don't have any questions. I'm a motion to approve the updated payment standards for the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your work on that.
Sure.
Item 5.1, public housing flat rents.
Okay, same thing. When the fair market rents come out, we evaluate the flat rents for the public housing program. The public housing program are the properties that we own and manage, Broadway House Apartments, and then we have 10 rental houses in the community here in New Ulm. We usually just set our flat rent at the fair market rent. The idea is that people that have moved into public housing, if their income goes up over time and they're technically over income for the program, we don't terminate their lease. They're allowed to stay, but then we do want them paying market rent if they can afford to, if that's 30% of their income. Actually, in some cases, 30% of their income would be higher than the flat rent, so this is sort of like a ceiling, the most that they would have to pay if they choose to stay living in our property. So I'm recommending setting the flat rents as follows: 1 bedroom $742, 2 bedroom $973, 3 bedroom $1,177, 4 bedroom $1,609. The idea that we keep the flat rent at market rate is to encourage people to, maybe make the choice to go out and get into home ownership or go out into another market rate property and open up the public housing unit for someone off the waiting list.
I'll make a motion to approve flat rents for the public housing program effective October 1, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.2, EDA, October 14th, 2025 claims list.
I didn't see anything unusual, so unless there are any other questions, I'll make a motion to approve the EDA claims list for October 14th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.1, commercial property rehab loan for Ulm Sweet Ulm LLC.
All right. Typically, I'm able to approve these loans, but the EDA made the decision several years ago that any loans over $50,000 would need board approval. This loan is for the full amount we can do under this program, $74,900, so does need board approval. The subject property is located at 203 North Minnesota Street. It is the LLC that houses Luca Books. I can't remember the coffee, New Ulm Brew. And they also have other space in the building. They rent out to people for things like yoga classes, and there's a volunteer that uses space downstairs to do bike repairs, and they're wanting to further renovate the lower level to create additional event and office space that can be rented out to other businesses to use, to bring in additional revenue for them. Part of that also includes, at some point, they'll convert the freight elevator to a passenger elevator for ADA access to the lower level. Matching funds for the project will be from one of our local lenders. Terms of the loan are the amount, like I said, $74,900, 10-year term, 2% interest rate. Conditions of the loan: the property owner will sign a promissory note and mortgage, as well as a personal guarantee, and pay the closing costs associated with the loan. the application's attached for your review. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. The owners are Brianne and Nick Terrelson.
I have reviewed this, and I do have a question, probably for my fellow commissioners. As we look at strategic planning and looking at this, I'm not convinced that this is going to further economic development within New Ulm. It will definitely help them and help businesses maybe that want to be in the lower level. I'm just looking at ways that we can say, yes, we're spending almost $75,000, and this is the economic impact it's going to have on New Ulm. It is quite a bit of money.
I would say, in my opinion, improving those older downtown properties is in the city's best interest. We don't want those buildings falling into, disrepair. They're old, they need work. I don't know, Dave, you were the former building official. What are your thoughts?
Well, the one part I did like, any part of a renovation, ADA access starts at the door. I do like it that the lower level ADA access with a passenger elevator. That was one of our big items why a lot of things could not be used on Main
That comes up a
Street.
lot in downtown buildings, yeah. And then Nicole, with a building improvement like this, would it increase the property tax revenue the city collects on a building at
Probably
some
not a
point?
ton. I mean, it's not going to change the value of the building that much.
Okay.
My thoughts would be that, kind of like Heather said, keeping the integrity of the buildings is where it starts, and you can't attract good businesses, good renters, good landlords, good building owners if you're not taking care of these very old and fragile buildings. So that's more my angle on how that supports economic development. So I would be supportive of this.
It's also adding space in the downtown area for businesses to come in and operate, which has been a pretty hot commodity. There aren't a lot of downtown spaces available because it's becoming so vibrant, and that's what we want, a good, vibrant downtown. So that's my 2 cents on it.
I'll say, my comments are, I guess I am in favor of it for those reasons, for the ADA compliancy, maintaining the integrity of the buildings. Likely, there'll be some local folks working on the project as well. I know that's not a long-term economic impact, but, if we do have the funds there for this time around, I do think it's a good loan, but I do agree with Michelle, like, once we kind of look at strategic planning, like, are there certain types of loans that we kind of want to stay away from? But, I mean, given it for now, I would be in favor of this. So I guess I'll make a motion to, approve with conditions a $74,900 commercial property rehab loan to Ulm Suite Ulm LLC.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I will just say that the loan program is a commercial property rehab loan, and that's precisely what this is doing.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's an existing program. They meet the criteria for the loan. If you want to make changes, that's something we can look at doing in the future. But at this time, as the program stands, this is exactly the way it's meant to be used.
Thank you for the discussion. I want to make sure that we are evaluating this as far as the EDA economic impact rather than just gut check approving it. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7.1, Economic Development Activity Report.
I will just highlight a few items. At the partnership meeting last month, we discussed the Rebound Partners Senior Housing Project that's moving forward, and they are partnering with Oak Hills as was intended when we sold the Garden Terrace property to them, in developing that outlot for a third building. So that is moving forward as intended. One application was received for the commercial property rehab loan program, in addition to the one that was just approved. That's a different application that we'll be moving forward with in the future. I did want to mention we have explored different AI platforms, and we have signed a 2-year contract with Placer AI. So we will have access to that platform beginning in January. So it's for year 2026 and 2027. That was an item that the city and the EDA budgeted for. So we're excited to learn how to use that program and help, benefit our business community as they're making plans for different events and showing the economic impact of those events on the community. I guess that Wendy Anderson's third quarter report is attached. And then next on the agenda, we have the Newbrook third quarter report, and Steve's here to answer any questions you may have.
A motion to accept the Economic Development Activity Report for September 2025 activities.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just had a quick question. Does Wendy not, is she not required to report in person, or?
I can ask her to. I know she's been here a few times and no one asked any questions, so she does come over from Springfield, but I can ask her to be present at meetings if you'd like her to be.
These are just, the reports are pretty vague, so it would be probably helpful if she were in attendance or provided a little bit more detail, I guess, on those reports.
Yep, I can pass that on.
I do have a question about the government shutdown. Do you see any impact as far as your work?
Right now, we have funding for our programs through October, I believe through November for public housing, through mid-November for Section 8. So we're hoping this will be resolved before that funding runs out. We'll wait and see. So for now, the only, the website still works, but if I have questions, I can't contact my HUD rep at the Minneapolis field office because they're furloughed.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.1, New Ulm Business Resource and Innovation Center 2025 third quarter report. Good morning.
Good morning, President McGrath and Commissioners. You got my report. Hopefully it's not too vague. It's been a busy quarter, and I just thought I'd give you some quick updates on all the things that are happening right now. And then you can ask me questions about that. I know everybody's interested in our tiny home project, and it is it's moving along rapidly. It's taking a little bit longer than I hoped for, but basically it's been less than a year since inception. So, and we're very, very close to being able to break ground. We do finalized our development agreement with the city, and it goes to the city council next week for approval. And then I think that's the last big hurdle for the development to continue. All our engineering plans are completed, and we'll be submitting for permit, and we have things out for bid right now. So God willing, the weather holds, and we can break ground before the end of the year for sure. I don't have a problem building through winter anyway, so and they're small, so you get a good 1 week window. You can get a lot done on small homes like this. So so that's where we are on the tiny home project. There are incubator project is very much alive, even though the 3M construction with the big construction project that was originally planned there is on hold right now due to many reasons. But the alternative sites are being explored, and we're moving along. I did get an agreement to bring the SBDC satellite office to New Ulm, which will support all of Brown County. That agreement has been agreed on, but it's on hold right now due to the government shutdown. But I got a letter from them last week and passed it on to Heather that that's all moving forward. We did finalize we had a request from the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation, the Smith Fund, that they had money for planning for the incubator project that could support us. And so we filed that grant last week and got initial very favorable response. I gave them the budget, the timeline, everything. It's a $20,000 grant that we have to match, that we can match. So I'm hopeful that comes through. They're gonna take that to committee in a couple weeks. But that would really help with our incubator planning. They sent out a survey last week. Heather helped me, was very appreciative, to all the large businesses in town regarding robotics and automation and their needs and their workforce, so that we could work on our programming for the incubator and work on our everything that we have to set in place so that we can support the local workforce and what they need, because that will be a part of it in addition to the business incubation portion. There is a international organizations, the International Business Innovation Association. They do incubator support, and we joined that organization, and I'm participating in a webinar with them next week to learn how they can support us in our incubator growth. The CTE, we really worked on our advisory board, enhancing it to try to really promote the CTE and get it back into the heads of the ISD 88. I was tasked with creating an action plan for that organization, and we're going to have that ready by the end of the month. I think our next meeting's October 29th. And we've gotten a lot of support. We added 2 school board members to our advisory board. Heather from the EDA came, the mayor joined, the ISD 88 Foundation has since joined, and Alina Health has joined. Alina Health is very interested in getting the nursing program in the CTE to help them and integrate with the city. So in addition, we applied for a grant for the middle school for $5,000 for the robotics and automation there. We received the grant from Heartland Energy, and we passed it on to ISD 88, and then Newbrick as well gave a $500 mini grant to the middle school for supplies and things for her. So anyway, so it's been very busy. Any questions for Newbrick?
If construction starts on those mini homes this fall or early winter, what is your timeline for occupancy?
Well, in a perfect world, they only take about 6 weeks to build. So, but it's not perfect right now. So I'd give myself 90 days. But I mean, I would ideally want occupancy in early spring.
Okay.
So.
I thought the model homes can't be occupied without a storm shelter. Aren't they just to show people what they...
I think they can be occupied. They're obtaining building permits. They're completely separate on separate lots. We've separated all the utilities so that they're independent.
But there's no storm shelter. I thought that was an issue.
No, I don't think so, Dave.
I'm not aware of that.
Oh.
I'm not aware of that, yeah.
I thought I had heard that in a discussion. Okay. So they can be occupied.
Yes.
Okay, good.
If nobody has any questions, I'll motion to receive the Newbrick 2025 third quarter report.
Second?
We have
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9.1, adjourn November meeting due to Veterans Day holiday.
So we have to reschedule this for the following Tuesday, November 18th, because we won't be open on Veterans Day. I had done a doodle poll, and it looks like we can get a quorum that day, so that's the day we are going with.
I'll make a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 at 8 a.m. due to the second Tuesday in November being on Veterans Day, November 11th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. There being no further items on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned.